I walk over to the table and find a digital camera. I think of all the family pictures on the Lascaux wall and how we hardly have any. Maybe having a camera would be good. The camera is marked $20, which doesn't seem like too much for a digital camera that works. But Grammy would make me eat tuna on toast for a week if I didn't bargain. So I go up to the lady. Excuse me, ma'am? Look, she says, I'll give you $1 discount right off the bat if you don't call me ma'am again. Will you take $13 if I call you your highness? Her laughter is so loud it makes me laugh. Well, she moves forward. This is a nice camera, but my grandson jammed a screwdriver in this port, she says, pointing. So you can't plug it into a computer anymore. But you can insert the memory stick into the machine at the store and print them that way. I can't believe how lucky I am, but I'm careful not to react. So I drop my voice to show some disappointment. Big part of negotiating. Well, will you take $13? Doesn't that seem a bit low? I hear someone playing a xylophone behind me and know that it must be Amy. I turn to see I'm right, and Michael is playing an air guitar. I reach into my pocket and pull out 15 $1 bills wadded up in a ball. How about $15 with that old jar? I say, pointing at the strong shoulder. I decide against the frame because I don't know if I can put my mom's picture in a seal frame. That's my final offer, mostly because that's all I have. She stares at me, half smiling. The xylophone is louder, and Michael is now singing. And I'll leave quickly and take my 2 loud friends with me, if that will help. She laughs. Boy, you're a pistol, aren't you? She leans to the side. He's a pretty good singer, actually. Yeah, they both are. They're going to be in Annie at the Playhouse. That's Annie and Rooster right there. Really? That's cool. We have tickets. She looks down at the camera in my hand. I tell you what, she says, it's a deal. I give her the camera and my ball of ones, and she comes back with a little bag holding the jar wrapped in newspaper and the camera. I may have thrown something extra in there, she says, thinking. Then she picks up a pencil and pad and walks over to Amy and Michael. So I hear you two are local stars. I'd love to have your autographs. Amy doesn't even try to hide how happy she is. Michael tries to play it cool, whipping off his name fast. But Amy's tongue curls around the corner of her mouth as she writes. She's done that forever, anytime she concentrates. It takes her so long, you'd swear she was writing a whole paragraph. But as we leave, she is practically flying. Walking away, I glance in the bag and see the surprise in the seal frame. My stomach rolls. The reminder I didn't want is now mine. But I give one more wave and a thank you to the lady who just tried to be nice. As I walk down the driveway, looking at the frame in the bag, I wonder about my mom. I hope she is a kind person like that, wherever she is. Chapter 12, Zonked. When I hear the knock on the door, I hope it's Amy and Michael, but instead I find Brandy and Tressa. Hey, Tressa says, we thought we'd come by to say hi. They smile, but the little voice warns me. I open the door for them, and Tressa scrunches up her tiny, pale face as she enters. Brandy follows. Grammy is watching one of our favorite game shows, Let's Make a Deal, and munching cheese curls. Hi, girls, she smiles, waving with orange fingertips. You're just in time for the big deal. A man dressed as a ketchup bottle is trying to decide between keeping his gold envelope or trading it for curtain number 3. I step closer. Tressa leans forward. Why is that guy dressed like ketchup? Grammy glances at her like she just landed in a spaceship. Let's make a deal! Tressa looks panicked. A deal on what? Grammy laughs and Tressa's face darkens. Let's make a deal. It's a game show, I tell her. The ketchup bottle guy on TV gets zonked, and then there's a commercial. Grammy turns to us. Well, jeepers crow. I told that man to stick with his gold envelope, but it didn't matter how much I told him, he gave it up anyway. People just never listen. Then she throws up her hands in disgust, but puts on a smile. Hello there, Brandy darling. How have you been? I'm fine, Mrs. McHill. How are you? I'm dandy, honey. Just dandy. Then she looks at Tressa. Who's your new friend? I'm Tressa Bolin. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Grammy says. I've seen you down at Seaside. Are you staying in one of the cottages? No, my family rented a house on C Street. Grammy drops another cheese curl in her mouth. Then she holds the bag toward us. You want a nibble? No, thank you, Tressa says, like she's caught a whiff of rotten meat. Well, you all run along, Grammy says. I'm going to watch the final round here and see if this box of tulips can take home any money. She laughs as she picks up the remote control. Be a good girl and get me another root beer, will you, baby? Brandy and Tressa follow me into the kitchen. What's a box of tulips? Tressa asks. That means he looks good, but he isn't very smart. She laughs, but not like she thinks it's funny. I lead them to my room. Tressa draws her finger along the wall, leaving an off-white line. Her fingertip is the color of charcoal. She stares at it. That's just a suit from the winter, I tell her. Suit, her eyes expand. Yeah, something about the furnace. It comes up with the heat or something. Her mouth moves the slightest bit, like it's trying to decide what to say. Tressa wipes the suit from her finger right onto my bedspread. There is a chirp behind us. Birdie, I call, and run to the cage where my parakeet dances back and forth. Hey, Birdie, how have you been? Brandy asks. She leans in. Why is his nose black? I pause. I guess it's the suit. Looking at Birdie, it's the first time I really notice the suit. We all breathe it in, and that can't be good. Tressa asks what time it is, a polite way of saying she has to leave. Brandy, you want to hang out, I ask? Her eyes dart to Tressa and back to me. Nah, I think I'll go too. Their entire visit lasted less than 15 minutes. The tide has shifted, at least Brandy has. Grammy's laughter over a big win calls me downstairs, and I plop down on the couch next to her and rest my cheek against her pillowy arm. She pats my cheek a few times before plunging her hand into her bag of cheese curls. What's the matter with my girl? I sigh. Nothing. Oh, if you say nothing, it's always something. Now spill it for your old Grammy. I want to say that I'm a rock crab and Tressa is a seagull, but I know Grammy would say I'm being dramatic. I'm just sad, I guess. Now, don't let yourself go to the sad place for too long. Folks sometimes plop themselves right in the middle of it and get real comfortable. Well, it's not like I have a choice. Of course you do. You got to make a deal with yourself to not do that. You've got to put your arm around happiness and invite it inside. Grammy pauses and looks at me. But I suspect those girls are making it hard to do that, huh? I nod. Well, you just push those two out of your head. They don't deserve one more iota of your attention. But I desperately want things back to the way they were with Brandy. And maybe, Grammy continues, just maybe this isn't as bad as you think. Sometimes people's way of acting has nothing to do with you. You and Brandy have been friends a long time. Maybe if you show her how much your friendship means to you, that could be a disaster. And I feel sad because I never used to have to wonder what Brandy would think. Well, Grammy says, you either succeed or you learn. If it doesn't work out, you can handle it. You'll be sad, but you can handle it. That Brandy Feister won't break my girl. I manage to smile, but all I can think about is Tressa. It's weird. I don't even like her, but I still wish she liked me. Jeepers crow, Grammy yells, focusing back on the TV. How'd this boy get on this show anyway? I've known cockroaches that know more than him. Galveston, Texas, I say, because that was the answer to the last question. Grammy elbows me and giggles. She looks so proud that I add, and it wasn't just a storm. It was a Category 4 hurricane with sustained winds of 145 miles per hour. Delcy, you surely are the smartest thing on 2 feet. You could even be a game show champion someday. Yeah, me and that bag of cheese curls. I'm also packed full of vitamins A and D. Do you think the walls would come down with Grammy's laughing the way she does? I mean, it wasn't that funny. I guess she's laughing mostly because she's my Grammy. Chapter 13, The Rift. I run across the grass towards the ocean after Mrs. Feister tells me that Brandy is down on the beach. I hear them both before I even see them. Their laughter rises above the sand, along with the sounds of rocks hitting the bottoms of our metal pails. Brandy and Tressa are collecting rocks and shells in our old pails. My hand hurts from squeezing the railing. I hear an oomph off to the right and lean forward to see around the tall Cape grass. The boy in black, Ronan, is on the beach, but today his feet are bare and his jeans are soaked to the knee. Oomph, he says again, as he hurls a rock much farther than I have figured a person his size could throw. There is a loud laughter again. Brandy and Tressa have seen me, but when I look in their direction, Tressa hits Brandy on the arm and they both turn toward the water. Their shoulders shake, laughing again. Tressa turns back around and leads toward Brandy to say something. By the time I get there, they are quiet. Oomph! Splash goes the next rock from the boy. Hey, I say, trying my best to sound like I'm not ready to throw up on their feet. What you doing? Building a house, Tressa says. Out of rocks, I ask? They wouldn't build a fairy house together, would they? I was kidding, Tressa says, half laughing. We're collecting stuff. Hanging out? Can I help? I ask. Brandy doesn't say anything, but she hands me her Pell, which surprises me. We collect stuff, but don't talk to each other. The beach is starting to fill up. A group of kids come toward us, laughing and dragging boogie boards, reminding me of better times. And then there's the boy throwing rocks into the waves. Oomph! Splash! Hey, Delcy, Tressa says. I think there are some good ones down there. Why don't you check it out? Okay, I say, feeling a little better. I take about 10 steps away, bend over, and pick up a perfect scallop shell. Brandy, this one is perfect. Cool, Brandy smiles. Tressa washes her. No, Tressa says, further down. I take another 5 steps. Keep going, she says, shielding her face from the sun. I step away again, but I know won't be enough. She wants me to stop all the way to China. Yep, keep going, she calls. Instead of backing up, I scurry over to Brandy, reach into my pocket, and pull out the rock that I decorated for her. Here, I made this for you, I tell her. It's a perfect skipping rock, but I decided to decorate it with glitter like we used to. Thanks, Brandy says. She reads the quote I painted on it out loud. As a friend, on a scale from 1 to 10, you're a 10.5. She smiles again, and before she can say anything else, Tressa slaps the bottom of Brandy's hand, sending the rock into the air. Then she catches it and skips it into the ocean. It all happens in a half a second. Hey, Brandy says. Well, you heard her, Tressa says. She said it was a great skipping rock. Don't cry, I tell myself. Don't. But I can't keep the tears from coming. First the sunscreen, and now this. And Brandy just stands there like a pile of seaweed. It's like she's a stranger. The idea of not having her as a friend anymore does me in. So I turn to leave. I take 2 steps. Wait, come back, Tressa calls. Oomph! Splash goes the next rock from the boy. I don't know why I turn around. Maybe a really dumb part of me thinks they'll be kind if they see me cry, that they'll feel sorry and we can all be friends. But when I turn around, Tressa is laughing. Wow, are you actually crying? Brandy takes a step towards me and stops. And I know if she has to choose, she won't choose me. I cry harder, even to hear myself, and I hate it. But the sound of Tressa's fake crying in the background of my real crying is even worse. I am humiliated. Hey! A loud, deep voice cuts into my own noise. I look up. It's Ronan. He squeezes a large rock in her hand. Leave her alone. The two stand silent, unmoving. We all do. Then he steps forward and says something I'd never expected. I cry sometimes. Don't you? By the time I get to the house, Wheel of Fortune is already on. Grammy eats from a tube of saltine crackers. The crumbs on her chest remind me of the sand I just left. Hey there, how's my girl? Fine. Good day? Uh-huh. We sit in silence except for when Grammy leans forward to speak to Spencer from Topeka. Man alive! How many letters do you need? It's right under your nose. Spencer promptly gives the right answer, and Grammy falls back with the satisfaction that she has helped him with a couple grand. When a commercial comes on, Grammy turns to me. Something to happen to hurt you today, baby? I'm not really surprised she knows. Grammy seems to hear me the most when I don't say anything at all. I want to rest on her shoulder, but I know I only have until Spencer comes back from the commercial break. Brandy and Tressa don't want me around anymore. Oh, I'm so sorry. That must hurt something awful. Yeah, I gave Brandy a present and I ended up crying and they made fun of me. She gathers me up in her pillowy arm and kisses the top of my head. Now, there's nothing wrong with crying if you're a human. Lizards and ants and buffaloes, they don't cry as far as I know. But if a person can break into laughter, then what's wrong with a few tears? I look up at her and shrug. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But there is something you must remember about those feelings deep down inside. They come from your soul, and they're a precious thing. They should be safe for the ones who will be cradling them like a new baby. You don't hand them off to just anyone. The ones that love you protect your feelings because they've been given a piece of you. Others may toss them around for just the same reason. The Wheel of Fortune music begins. Grammy reaches for another saltine, and I know that she will have no more to say. I sit unmoving. My eyes watch the game on TV, but I can't tell you if the guy from Topeka loses, wins, or dies. I just know that I'll never forget what she said to me, and I swear I'll never make the same mistake again.